Scott, how's your day going aside from having to talk to media people asking you the same questions over and over and over again?
Well, I just woke up, so you're the first person I'm talking to. So,
Fresh,
so
fresh.
yeah, here you go, man. It's like fresh driven snow. Stomp all over it.
Well, are you ready for a bunch of compliments or are you maxed out even though you just woke up?
I just woke up. Everything's good.
Okay. Well, I love the work ethic behind you and Local H because I first found out about you the way that millions of people did because of 120 minutes, seeing you open for STP, etc. Did you have any idea that you were going to still be at it all these years later like that back then?
I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say, but I can say that there was no plan B. So I don't really know what else I thought I was going to do. Nothing really. So I think in some way, yes, but I don't think I was really thinking a whole lot about futures back then.
Sure. So the reason that we were initially set up is there's this tour with Helmet, there's the 20th anniversary release of the PJ Souls record. Do you track anniversaries like that, or does somebody in management go, by the way, you got this?
I mean, I we started working on the on the remaster for PJ Souls like 2 years ago, and I just wanted to get it out of the way. So yes, I was tracking. I was seeing. I kind of wanted to. This is the reissue I've been looking forward to, because that's kind of where we're at now. Like
Mhm.
bands that have been around as long as we are, it's all about the 20-year reissues, and it's not that it's all about that, but it's somewhat about that. And but this is the one that I was looking forward to, and I wanted to make sure that the remastering was done correctly because there's a lot of bitching when this record came out about the master wasn't done correctly. I wanted to make sure that that was great, and I wanted to make sure the artwork was great because the original release screwed up the artwork.
I
So there
didn't
were
know
a
that.
lot of things I wanted to correct with this release. And Yeah, I think we did that.
Mission accomplished. And the album title itself had a lot of people talking. That's one of the things I love about Local H. The pop culture savvy you've always had,
Mm.
that the toxic cover, etc. Did you ever have people going, "Hey, stop being so topical"?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, a lot of people ask us why our music isn't uh, licensed more and in more TV shows or movies. And it's because of the lyrics. It's because of like the fact that we try to not do things. We don't want the lyrics to be generic. It's not just about it's tonight. It means to be young, and I love you more than words can say. And we're talking about specific things. I believe in specificity. That was a tough word to get out this morning.
I
I
hear you.
believe in specifics. I think that in a weird way makes things more universal. But when it comes to putting your stuff in movies and TV shows, that people don't think that way. They're like, we don't want that stuff.
Then again, the sync license fees, as somebody who's worked around management and all that on and off, sync fees are down so much that who cares if you're not getting those placements
Yeah,
anymore?
why is that?
Because they introduced indie bands. That's my opinion. They realized, okay, well, we can pre-clear everything. Like for example, and if this gets too nerdy, stop me.
Sure.
But I used to work with the band OK Go, and you'd
Mhm.
see what they'd get offered from American Idol, like season 4 and then season 8, and the rights would be more. The money would go down. You'd see like Grey's Anatomy season 5 and then Grey's Anatomy season 9. I think they all kind of realized, well, it's going to be a hit with or without the music. So who cares about the artists?
Right, 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 right.
And then we can get the sound alikes. So Local H says no for 2,500 bucks. We'll have somebody who sounds like Local H.
Yeah, smart cookies.
Evil genius, I guess
Yeah,
you could say. But
sure.
you seem to realize before everybody else that it was all going to be about the touring. When did you have that realization? Was it when you left Island?
No, I mean it was when we were on island. So we kind of didn't ask for like a we didn't ask for a big advance. We didn't ask for a lot of money to, you know, I don't know. We just wanted to stay on tour. And so we took all of their money in tour support. And so we were out there all the time and just kind of built things up. And that turned out to pay off, you know. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I wasn't interested in in anything else
So the tour
that
that
we're offering.
pardon the rude interruption. The tour that I first saw you on, the opening up for Stone Temple Pilots in arenas. Do you have fond memories of that era? Because let's face it, opening act in an arena, yes, you're playing to a lot of people, but the crowd is coming in during your show. You know, you
Uh,
have to do the same banter every night, that kind of a deal.
no, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time, and you got to remember, like for years, we were sort of slogging it out, playing to no one or playing with bands that we weren't totally happy to be with, or bands
Right.
that weren't totally happy to be with us. So this was a tour that everybody wanted, and we totally wanted it, and the fact that we got it was a big deal, and I don't remember ever taking it for granted. It was a good time. I had a really good time on that tour.
The upcoming dates you have with Helmet, Page couldn't be a nicer human being, very relaxed. One of those people where the music is angry, and then you meet the real guy, and he just wants to play jazz and just
Yeah.
kind of relax. Had you met Page over the years, or did booking agents go, "You two go together"?
No, we met on a tour where we were both opening up for Filter,
Oh,
and we got along really well. And so then we started doing shows together, and then they took us to Europe with them. And you know, after Europe and after we did a couple of months in the States, you know, we looked at each other and we were like, well, this is it. We can't tour together anymore. We did it all. You know, there's nowhere left. So this tour coming up are some places that we found that were left for us to hit together. So this is be the cracks and crevices of local H and helmet touring.
these days, how far ahead do you look with local H? You know, being, and I say that with a compliment kind of deal, because your first tour, you go, this may never happen again. And now that's your 30th tour and you've done so many albums. Do you really look ahead a year or two in advance?
Well, it's weird because, you know, everybody does now. You know, I went to see Metallica the other night, and I believe the show was on sale 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So I mean, I remember doing tours. We're like, oh, well, we're gonna go on tour with this band. When? In 3 months. That seems that seems sane to me. That seems right. That seems like, hey, asking people, hey, what are you gonna do in 3 months? I don't know, nothing. All right, can you come see us? Fine. Asking somebody 2 years in advance. No, we're not Metallica, but asking somebody 2 years in advance whether or not they've got time to come see us, that seems crazy to me. But you know, like friends of mine that are in bands, they know what they're doing next year. They have it all mapped out. And that's kind of the way things are now. Again, it seems crazy to me, but
You
that's
make a
just kind of the way it is now.
really, really good point. I never thought about that. If a friend invited you to have dinner in 2 years, you'd go, what's their problem? But for some reason, it's normal to buy Bruce Springsteen tickets a year, year and a half in advance. So
Well, if that
obviously,
friend was Metallica, you would probably clear your schedule for lasagna with them in 2 years.
uh, speaking of bands and all that, one thing that I could never quite figure out, because again, I always love the pop culture references and the sense of humor. I saw the Halloween show that you did as Kiss, and I've heard occasionally Ain't Talking About Love or Panama by Van Halen come into the mix of covers. Were you originally like a Van Halen Kiss person, or is that all kind of Nirvana style, kind of ironic?
I was never a Kiss person. I loved Van Halen, and I still love Van Halen, but Kiss was never my thing. I didn't really like makeup bands by and large. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would never do anything with an ironic stance. I don't believe in that when it comes to covers. But with Kiss, it was like that was the best Halloween show we ever did. I mean, they did one thing very well, and that was to be Kiss.
Yeah, in the case of Kiss, I'm one of those self-loathing Kiss fans where I
Mhm.
know much more than I should.
Yeah,
In the 80s, they used a lot of outside writers.
right.
Was there ever
Desmond Child.
Desmond was up on that list, and hence Bon Jovi and Aerosmith and all that. One thing I'm curious about, were you ever asked to be one of those outside writers for other bands?
Again, it's like the licensing thing. Like I'm just not very good at it. Like I can't really sit down and write a song that just anybody could sing. I can only seemingly write songs that only I can sing. And it's I just can't do it. I can't honestly sit here and think of lyrics that would make the whole world sing. I fucking can't do it, man.
Well, a lot of your peers and a lot of people you toured with have found success as outside writers, outside producers. I didn't know if you had that phase where
Yeah.
people were going, we want an angry, kind of funny thing. Scott's the guy for that.
No, I mean, and those people are really smart. Those people were able to get off the touring merry-go-round, I guess. And I have a lot of respect for those people and some envy for those people. But
Sure.
I don't know. That's not what I got into it for. I got into this so that I could talk about what I want to talk about and I could do what I want to do, you know.
Sure.
And that's for better or worse what I'm doing, you know. And I didn't want to say things that other people wanted me to say.
Hmm.
And I don't feel like putting words in other people's mouths either.
So it sounds like writer's block doesn't come for you as long as you tune a guitar down a half step and have distortion on.
Uh, well, you asked me what my bands were growing up, and it was Led Zeppelin. And so, like, the thing that I love about Led Zeppelin is they they were known for being this proto heavy metal band, but if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, you know that's not all that they did. They
Right.
did a lot of things. And so I wanted Local H to be like that, the thing that gets the most ink about us, ink, what am I talking about? The thing that gets the most talk about us is, that we're loud and, screaming and stuff. But if you listen to the records, there's a lot more going on.
Of
And
course.
and so that's kind of what I always wanted. I mean, just the name itself. Is it a rock band? Is it an indie band? What kind of band is it? It's whatever you want, really.
But for those who are coming out to see you on the Helmet shows, is it a career spanning show where you do a couple songs from every record?
We do a thing, and we've been doing this for as long as I don't know, at least for as long as Ryan's been in the band, where we just sort of walk into a room or we walk into the venue and then we sort of get a feel for how the night's going to go. We look on Twitter or Facebook and see what people are requesting as far as songs go. And then we just sit back in the dressing room after sound check and then we make the list. So like every night we don't really know what we're going to play. I mean, we've talked about on the way to the show, do you know what we should play tonight? And it's like, no, let's just wait and feel it. So like usually about an hour before we go out is when we get the set list together. Um, Having said that, I would think that the sets would be pretty PJ Souls heavy. But we are playing with Helmet, so don't expect us to get too far into the weeds. I don't want to get my ass kicked by Helmet.
Well, putting words in your mouth, changing the set list up like that night to night, writing the music that you want to write, not expecting syncs or placements or co-writes or anything like that. You sound like just a creatively fulfilled person in your day job as Local H.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good it's a good situation to be in. It's a good position to be in. I don't really can't really say I'm wanting for anything. So it's fine, you know.
Cool. Well,
What more could I want?
my last topic or question right here is, I know you've been asked this before, but just entertainment here. Uh, have you ever gotten a thank you note from any of the two-man bands that came after you? Because obviously, Flat Duo Jets happened, then Local H, and then everybody like Royal Blood and the Stripes and the Black Keys, et cetera, all that happened. But was there ever a public thank you for the idea, Scott?
No.
Never. But you sound at peace with it.
It doesn't matter if I'm at peace with it. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's a thing that like uh I'm it's an idea that clearly does work. And Flat Duo Jets and we were right to do it. And it's an idea that clearly sells millions of records. I couldn't do it like that. And Flat Duo Jets couldn't sell a million records with it, but somebody else could. So I don't feel like I deserve a thank you note. You know, they figured out the way to take it and run with it, and God bless them.
Well, you're still standing, you're still packing rooms, you're still making music for people who love that kind of music, not chasing trends. So thank you for the decades of great art, Scott. Looking forward to what's to come from you, whether it's a reissue, a tour, new music, whatever it is. Keep it up, man.
Okay. Thank you.
Paltrocast.